Okay, today we are talking about reviewing for the Higher Algebra Semester 1 Final. Now, don't get confused by that Quarter 1 Final folder there. We're obviously not doing Quarter 1 alone. We're doing Semester 1. All right, so Semester 1 here has Unit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in it. Now, why am I not including 8? Because that's the one you just had tested on. If you need to review that, then you need to probably do corrections on your test. I'll get those back to you tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't get them today because I was sick yesterday. I haven't even seen the test yet. But I'll grade them tonight, and you'll get Unit 8 back tomorrow. Okay, so then that leaves us these. We're going to block these by 2s. We have 3 to review days. So we're going to do these two, Unit 2 and Unit 3, today. Does that mean I'm going to have you do every single thing in those folders? No, you'd go insane. There's so much in there. So what you are supposed to do right now is for the next 15 minutes or so, I am going to have you look through Unit 2 and Unit 3. Specifically, if I were you, I'd look at the keys, because you can quickly tell whether or not you recognize and know how to do a problem by looking at the answer and seeing, would I have been able to get that? These are going to be the relatively easy ones because, you know, they're from early in the year. So increasing at an increasing rate. You remember how that looks? That's this part right here, for example. I'm not going to go through everything. That'd drive you crazy. But I want you to look through this worksheet. Make sure this is like a review worksheet that covered the entire, like right before the test. This was the review right before the test. If there's any of these that you are like, oh, I could not have done that, I don't know what's going on there, then you single those problems out. And I want everybody right now to make me a new Notability doc, a new, brand new, clean one. Right now, make a new Notability doc and title it Review Unit 2 and 3. And you might realize that problem number 5A is giving you trouble. Okay, then you might want to write out the basics of what it's about. And then you might say, okay, I was having so much trouble with this, I'm going to take the Schoology quiz on it for practice. I will promise not to put those grades in the grade book, but I will look to see who did them. Do you have to do all of them to be a good person? No. You should do the Schoology quizzes only when you are in an area where, like, I'm not very good at this one. I better practice this one. I'm going to do the Schoology quiz. Okay, so that'll be one of your options for tonight. This is a kind of like a buffet. Ever been to the super buffet, those like Chinese restaurants that have like 8 million entrees, and you get to walk to the different things and pick out what you want? Okay, amazing experience if you haven't tried one. There's one called Super Moon, I think it's called. Yep, there's one in Chaska. Although I think that one just closed, sadly. But anyway, this is like a buffet. You have so many choices of what to review. I just want you on this document to tell me what you chose to do today, not just in class, like you might be able to make a few notes in class, but at home tonight. And you're going to be able to show me tomorrow, here's what I did to review. I did the Schoology quiz, or I did these 6 problems off this worksheet and these 4 problems off that worksheet to practice. Okay? So you're customizing, making your own review. You need to be able to show me what you did. So if you are going to do problems, do them right on this sheet. So like if you're going to do problem 5A, and it's like find f of g of x, and you're like, okay, let's see if I can remember how to do this one, and you write out your work here, that's showing me that you did some practice tonight. Okay? I want you to focus on Unit 2 and Unit 3. All I expect out of you at home tonight is about half hour or so of doing homework, which could mean maybe you'll choose to take a Schoology quiz. Maybe you'll choose to do these problems off this worksheet. Okay, but you're going to be able to show me this tomorrow. I'm going to walk through and be able to see, okay, show me what you did last night, and you explain it to me quick. All right? So, make me a review sheet that's customized to you. And I'm going to go back here to the Schoology and say, let's say that you look through this whole thing, and the only thing you were scared about was this one right here. Well, and maybe you should try that one right there and do it on your review sheet, and then check your answer, make sure you're doing it right. Maybe you decide, I'm more of a Schoology quiz kind of guy, so I'll take the Schoology quiz on this stuff. All right, so remember it's Unit 2 and Unit 3. Here's Unit 3. It's a lot bigger. Look at Unit 3. You got so many things in there. Again, do you need to do all of this? No. But you should look at the keys. I think that's the best way to cull it down, is look at the keys for the reviews. This is the review for that test. And look through it and say, yeah, I'm good at these transformation things. Yeah, good, 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 good. Ooh, the graphing. I was never very good at the graphing. Maybe I should do a practice on one of those. Okay? And there is a blank one of this, so it doesn't have all the, the stuff on it. And you can say in your review sheet then for me that you did, problem 6A and 6B. And if you actually do the problems, you can do the work right on this sheet. If you want to refer me to another sheet where you did the problems, like I did it on this other worksheet, that's fine. I just want a list of what you did. Okay, so you have to customize this for yourself. If I make you all do problems and you already know how to do them, it's going to be wasting your time. So you got to find things you don't know how to do. All right, I'm going to pause for, again, maybe 10, 12 minutes here. I want you to just look over things. Find me a few things that you want me to practice with you today. I want to record some actual problems and answers, but I want you guys to pick them. That way I'll know that you needed the help on it. By the way, during that time, everybody will be forced to do some practice problems that whoever is asking me is picking. Okay? So if they pick this one, then I'm going to have everybody try that one. All right, so I'm going to pause for a bit. You find some problems from Units 2 and 3 that you might have trouble with, need some explaining, and then I'll do those. Please choose them, because otherwise I'll have to pick them, and I might pick stuff that nobody really cares about. All right, so choose some things for me to do with you. I want to pause while you find those things. So what questions, now that you've had time to look, what questions do you want to see? And we're all going to do these together. All right, so read me a question. Go ahead.
It doesn't have a number, but
that's cool. Doesn't matter.
5k of 2 plus 1. And the complement of k of x is 2 over x minus
Over what?
x minus.
All right, everybody look at that problem. And on this, I'll give you this hint. Always find k of 2 first. If I find k of 2 and it turns out to be like 7, then I just put a 7 in here. And this 5 times 7 is 35 plus 1 would be 36. But I doubt it's going to turn out to be 7 unless I'm the best guesser in the entire world. So that means you just basically stick this in here and then tell me what you think it is. Turn it my way. I'll tell you if you did it right. You should be doing these on your Notability doc. That's one thing you're showing me that you're doing for practice. I agree, Mr. A. I can't see anything. Look what you're showing me. That didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work. Okay, you know what a lot of you are doing? You're figuring out just this. Don't just figure out this. That's a good start. The answer to that, just to clarify, does come out to 2 over 2 minus 4, which is 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. But you're not done. Negative 1's a start. Then figure out the whole rest of the answer. Once you stick negative 1 back in the equation, you'll be able to get the final answer. You're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. Yes, 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 yes. If that's a 4, yes, nope, then you did something wrong. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Here's what you should have done. Now that you know this is negative 1, you should be putting 5 times negative 1 plus 1. 5 times negative 1. Why did you need negative 1 from this? This gave me the negative 1 when I stuck in a 2 right there. K of 2. Okay, so anyway, final answer negative 4. Give me another question. Something you'd like to practice for the final. KU. Is it a hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like the circles.
In the circle section. Go ahead. You know what? For 2 seconds, I'm going to do a review of circles with you that I want to do, and then I'll let you ask your question. Wait a minute. Would you tell me, please? That's a 16, not a 76. Where is this circle and how big is it? You should be able to say its center is here and its radius is this. Write it on your iPad. Circles is definitely on the final. Your center's at something comma something, and your radius is something. Yes. Yes. Your radius is off. You want the square root, not half of. Yes. 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 When I get this many yeses, I'm getting that we don't want to spend much time on it. Nice work. This is -3. Opposite of this, because whenever it's on the inside, you do the opposite. Same with this. Normally, we could trust y's, but when circles are on the inside, so you can't trust it. So it's the opposite of that. It moves up 1. So this one would be 3 to the left, up 1, and I have a radius of 4. Oops, that's a terrible circle. 3 to the left, up 1, radius of 4. So something like that is where it would be. Okay? So that circles now. There's more complicated circle stuff. Was yours more complicated than that? Does that cover it? Okay, good enough. Then who's got another one we should practice? Yes, sir. Sure. Can you read me what kind? Would you want it from a picture or do you want it from a picture? All right. So if this was, okay, I'll start with a picture one then. If I'm going to do you remember that graph that kind of looks like this? That's the most complicated kind. That's 1 over x, good. And it's domain and range. Well, the domain is this way. Can this function go forever this way without any hiccups? No, it's got an issue. It doesn't work everywhere. So its domain is what to what? It's don't say it. Don't say it. I want you to write these down. And then the range goes like this, from how low to how high. And this goes almost everywhere, but there's somewhere it won't go. So your answer should be things like, 2 to infinity or something like that. That's not the right answer, but it is not moved. It is just at 0, 0. It's centered at the origin. Okay, so domain goes left to right like this. Range goes up and down like this. Okay, I'm not going to check everybody's on this, but I'm going to remind you how this works. Do you get that it can't go forever this way and this way? It has this spot right here. It can't touch. It can't touch 0 when you're going from left to right. So you'd say from -infinity until it hits 0, it's fine. Then it can't be 0, so you have parentheses around it. Union with starts again at 0 and works until infinity. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, and then the range is pretty much the other way. It's how low does it go? -infinity until it stops working at 0 again. So it's identical. Starts again working at 0 and then goes up forever, 0 to infinity. All right, that's a domain and range question from a picture. Now I'll give you a domain and range question from an equation. Yes? Can it touch 0? No, and therefore a parenthesis. Okay, so what if you had this equation and they ask you for the domain and the range? Then what you do is you ask yourself, what would the picture be? And once you have the picture, then you do the domain and range from that. Okay, so if I have this domain and range, I know that the parabola shifted up one kind of looks like that. Now you do it from the picture. Okay, so then the domain of it is how far this way and how far that way, all reals. Can you write all reals? Well, it's multiple choice test. So if it didn't say all reals, it would say -infinity to +infinity. Okay, and then the range of it. The range of it is how low to how high. This one doesn't go forever down. It goes only down to 1. That spot right there. And it goes up forever. So it goes from 1 to infinity. Oh, does it touch 1? Yes, bracket. There we go. Okay, that's a quick review of domain and range. What else you got? What else might you have some trouble with on 2 and 3? Units 2 and 3. Yes?
Is on the first page on unit 2.
Okay.
It was x and x plus 2.
Read that again. X when?
Yeah.
X when
X
plus 2.
plus 2 is in the parentheses.
F of 2 you mean then, okay.
No, like x plus 2 or something.
Okay, F of x plus 2 is how you'd say that.
And then equals -3.
Equals -3.
And then there's a graph.
Okay, so then it's got a picture to look at. So first of all, what you'd ask yourself on this one is, here, show me the picture quick. Show me the graph so I can replicate it real quick. All right. That kind of a thing. Okay, so always ask yourself on this kind of a question, I want you all to try this one right now. If you were going to do this, did they tell you X or did they tell you Y? Because they're going to tell you one and then you have to figure out the other. Okay, did they tell you X or did they tell you Y? They told you Y. It's asking for X when blah, blah, blah. So they did not tell you the X, they told you the Y. That means that right there, that's the Y. Okay, the Y is always on the other side. Now, if the Y is -3, I go on my graph and I want you to tell me, would you please interpret the graph for me? When I put in X is -3, sorry, Y is -3, my bad, I got to go the other way. Y is -3. Is there one or two things that would come out as you go across here? Would it hit here and would it hit here, or was it only going to hit one of those two spots? Okay, which one does it hit?
-5.
Okay, so it hits over here, but it does not hit over here. All right, so then this must be up a little higher then, so. Okay, so it hits at -5. Then what that means is that the point -5 comma -3 must exist on your graph. Do you agree with that? Then do you get that that means f of -5 is -3? That's another important thing to get. Okay, so if this point is on your graph right here, then this must be true, that when you take f of -5, you get -3. Look at this now with new eyes, now that you know this, and do you get that there's a little equation that is growing? F of -5 means this was supposed to be -5. That means that x plus 2 is supposed to be -5. Now I can solve it. So I subtract 2 from both sides, and I have x equals -7. So that was a complicated process. The first thing we need to ask was, did they tell me X or did they tell me Y? I figured out that they told me Y. Y was -3. I go to my graph. I find where Y is -3. I find this spot. I write down what point it is. And then I know that f of that X is equal to the Y. And I know that the -5 is what this is supposed to be. And then I set a little equation for that. How many of you think you could follow that on the final? Good. All right, next topic. Yes? Well, if it had touched twice, all right, then I'd have to set this equal to -5 and this equal to whatever else it was. If it had also been equal at 7 or something, then I'd make a little equation that says x plus 2 equals 7. If it had touched twice. But that's a really complicated question. I doubt you'd see anything that complicated on the test. All right, next topic. Anything else from Unit 2 or Unit 3? All right, I guess that's all I have time we have for today. Your job is to spend about 30 minutes working on something, and you tell me later what you did. Schoology quiz, maybe it's doing some of the worksheet problems. Have a good day. Good day.